Oh my gosh,
Fundamentals.
we would be the bad boys of Little League. I'm telling you now, we would beat the tar out of the other team.
I'm just gonna go out and say it. Joey Chestnut has to be on the pub.
Has to
Mount
be.
Pubmore. I mean,
Has to be.
Dramatic, man. That was a journey.
Man, I'm gonna get real theological on y'all. I think we're all a little soft and misunderstood. I'll just be real honest.
Get Luke Combs. I was begging for Luke Combs not too long ago. We'll get Luke Combs on here. I challenge Luke. I think I can actually beat him in shotgunning a beer. So if he thinks he's got the cojones to come on and try, then by all means, Luke, bring it on.
That's the intro. You just hit my promo for me, James. I love it. Episode 142, Pub Sports Talk. The three amigos back in it. Devin, RIP again.
Golly.
It was good 2 weeks in a row. Son of a bitch, that 3 weeks, too much for him. Nah, stuck with work. He'll be back next week for our podcast listeners, Spotify, Apple, talking to you. Come join us every Wednesday night. I think it's officially we're moving back to Wednesdays like the OG time, 7:35 Eastern time. Come join the boys. Hop on YouTube, chat with us. We'll try to get back in a reasonable time to get back to your answer, and we'll try to get you on air. All right. So little PSA there. Dr. Tim Farner in the building, back in the office. He said, Key and Peele, bitch, give me back my office. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad it finally worked out. And then Preacher Man Fitzsimmons joined us, baby.
As always.
Good crew. Now, did you join Aaron Rodgers in your dark vacation and just consume yourself in blackness until you decide to emerge like a groundhog?
No, but I should have. That would be really interesting.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Well, boys,
Just have all Packers fans taking a darkness retreat.
well, it might be a little dark for you here coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't. We won't spread any bad vibes. Let's talk about this week's random fact for you. 1981, the Boston Bruins and Minnesota Northern Stars, before they moved down to Dallas, they played a game with 42 penalties. There was a total of 406 penalty minutes given out. In the first period alone, there was 211 of those penalty minutes, 18 minors, 13 majors, 7-game misconducts. Like suspensions were doled out. The most penalized game ever in all of sports, but especially in the NHL. So it's just honestly a wild time in the NHL. The 80s, just shout out to us. We survived it as a whole, not us three because we weren't alive, but shout out, we survived the 80s, right? No, this is, I just can't imagine like watching a game and like obviously all three of us, like we go to hockey games and we're like, hell yeah, there's a fight. But could you imagine 211 penalty minutes of just like fight after fight after fight after fight, hook/fight. Like this, I don't know if I could handle it. Like I think you'd have to kick the crowd out because they'd be getting into it.
Yeah, how do you not stop an all-out brawl? Like you said, Parker, I'd imagine outside of the game, like after the game, there were still fights, like continued in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like fans that just got rowdy in the arena, just like took it outside, just fisticuffs. That is crazy. I'm right there with you, Parker. So the beauty of the NFL or NHL and really hockey in general is like, you get a little contact. It gets a little rowdy, a little spicy, maybe throw gloves. But like outside of that, put on the skates, let's go. This would be too much. Like this would be what, like a 5-hour game?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. That would drive me crazy. I couldn't do it. I'm with you, Parker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is there even there's more minutes there than there? How did they
in a hockey game?
How were they able to get all the? Yeah, it's just like what? How were they able to get everyone their penalty minutes like in the 3 periods?
Like it, I don't know how you do it.
The refs are pissed. Like if I was working that game, I'd be like, "You MFers, what are you doing? Stop slashing each other." just go in the box. Just 5 minutes. Just go. Like I would
Yeah.
just point at people. Like they wouldn't even commit the foul. Just go. Penalty box.
You're gone. You're
Yep.
gone. You're gone. Yeah.
Bam.
I mean,
out.
the only thing I can think of is like the Odell Josh Norman game where it was just two guys, just like the entire game, just going at it, chippy. So I'm just imagining that, but now it's like literally 10 versus 10, or it's like an entire team, just everyone going after everyone the entire game and just having to diffuse it. It just seems absurd. Yeah.
Dude, I would be exhausted if those officials. Like after the first period, I'm saying, "Fuck it, we're out." Like games, we're done. We're out. Like I'll collect my paycheck, whatever. Like it's done. I don't know how you overcome this, but yeah, they serve a couple game suspensions on both sides here, and then no one's ever heard of it since. Really, like it just kind of got dust on the rug, and the NHL's trying to clean up the game. There's less fights and there's less like goons than there were back then, but. I just found this stat and I was like, all right, I've got to share it with the pub here because this is I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Because yeah, I'm with Fitz. Like, there's more minutes of penalties than the minutes in a game. Like, how to wild time.
At what point would you just say, all right, clear the bench, you guys just get on one side of the ice, other team on the other, and like when we blow the whistle, you just like mosh pit style or like, you know, Lord of the Rings style where they're just running, they just collide. Like, like just get it out of your system because I'm not doing 3 periods of this. Just 1 period. Whoever's left standing finishes the game.
You got a
That
guy
could be
getting
something.
shanked with the ice skate across the neck.
Jeez.
Oh man, yeah, it's wild. I don't have a question that goes with this either. Like this just stumped me completely. And there's our fact. Unless you guys can come up with a question off the dome right there, but to me, it's just
a great fact.
Now I wonder what like the most. Oh, this is gonna be Google. Like the most penalized NFL game, the most penalized NBA game. Like the teams, what time it is. All right, I gotta look it up. I'm gonna look up
Yeah.
NFL.
Dude,
Yeah, the problem with NFL is it just drags. Like every time there's a penalty, like I've watched those games where it's just like a penalty every other play. It's not fun like hockey. Hockey, it's like oh shit, he's going after him. Like NFL, most penalized us can be like, oh, they called 12 false starts and 3 delay games, and it's just gonna be like a sloppy game where I feel like this is just animosity. We just want to fight. We don't even want to play hockey. We just want to fight.
yeah.
Like that's nuts.
The Oakland Raiders had 23 penalties against the Bucks in 2016.
Oh man.
So,
Mm.
so Evan, I don't know if that's the most penalized like for both teams, but going to your point, Evan, if anyone has watched the XFL, they have done a really good job with this whole one guy. He's pretty much the eye in the sky, and he's overruling these calls or these turns, and it is quick. It is not this like, oh, we'll go to commercial break, and then 5 minutes later, oh, they're still talking about it. No, like there's
Let's
none
go
of
to
that.
Gene Steratore. What did you think?
Yeah,
Gene?
yeah.
None of that. And so like think whatever you want about the XFL, but like NFL could be taking notes because they're showing how the game can be streamlined but still very viewable. So that was just a side tangent.
Yeah, I hope it'll get better. That is my favorite thing, though. Let's go to Mike Pereira. Mike, just like,
Oh,
they
I
are
agree
getting
with
this
you.
wrong. They are
Yeah.
just totally getting this
Yeah.
wrong.
Just
I'm
shitting
sitting
on the
here
refs.
on my warm couch.
Yeah.
I have every angle, and I can't believe they're missing this call. It's just like, oh my gosh, what am I watching?
Most fouls in an NBA game. Utah Jazz committed 52 against the Phoenix Suns in 1990.
Oh my gosh.
So
How did the whole team not foul out?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's weird.
There had to be like a foul on the coach, maybe an assistant coach in there too. Some bench fouls, like because you'd run out of players.
Jeez.
Wild. All right, boys, let's stay with hockey. There's 2 big. I mean, it's trade deadline coming up. 2 major moves with some major stars. Maybe they're a little aged, but we always grew up watching them. The first one, Patrick Kane, who took the Blackhawks to a Stanley Cup victory. He had been a captain and assistant captain literally his entire time there since 2007. He was a first overall pick for the Blackhawks in 2007. He gets traded away to the New York Rangers. Rangers really needed this lift. They just lost their defenseman for a couple months because of injuries, and then they lost somebody else for suspension of games. So Rangers are hurting. Get Patrick Kane. He's a veteran presence. He's won a Stanley Cup. This is a good move if you're the Rangers. I think it's a great move for the Blackhawks because, yes, it signals as a fan of the Blackhawks maybe a rebuild for your franchise. He's the last piece of that Stanley Cup. But it's a fresh start. You get rid and you kind of get rid of the old stuff and say, hey, we get to make our own future. You get to write it now. I like this move a lot by both teams. It makes really great sense because Rangers are a Stanley Cup contender. Kane had a no trade clause in his policy that he got to pick where they traded him if he was traded. So I like this. Tim, you're a hockey guy. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I like this too. And I think more importantly, we talked about the Rangers and how they're pretty young overall. I mean, they were a young team last year. But like you said, Parker, this guy's, he's seen it. He's played on the ice probably, I don't know, maybe older than some of these players. But
Yeah.
I think it's a great mix for the Rangers, and they're already doing great. What I didn't know, like you had mentioned, was the suspension of K'Andre Miller.
Yeah.
After I was like praising him, he gets suspended for spitting on a player. So like, A, what the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And B, I guess that's what I get for defending a New York Ranger. But I like the move. Think it's great. I'm with you, Parker. I mean, I was already kind of scared of how the Rangers were gonna, finish up the season, and if they get hot, then hit the postseason. But now it's like, now I'm really scared because he's kind of that level head that can kind of help guide these young guns down the road. So they're going to be a scary team down the stretch.
Oh, 100%. And, they're at 34 wins compared to the Canes 39. So they're 5 games back,
Yeah.
but their points total is right there nipping our heels. They're only 8 points less than the Canes in the division. I think that's a good point. It is a little scary to think about them getting this veteran presence and like it's clutch time now. Like it's time to fucking go. And I think the Rangers are going to go. Fitz, any thoughts here?
I don't even know who this guy is. So he was on the Devils. Is that what's
Blackhawks?
Blackhawks. He said that. Blackhawks. Is he a defensive guy?
Nah, he's a wing.
See, I would have thought he was a defender. I know nothing about this, but good for the Rangers.
I wonder what Matt would say, because isn't Matt now a Rangers fan?
I think so. Somehow.
Somehow.
Some
Maybe.
girl convinced him to be a Rangers fan. That's all.
Maybe we'll ask him in the afterlife. R.I.P. Matt.
Yeah. We'll grab the Ouija board and we'll ask him tonight. The other big news, this is a guy who, Patrick Kane's a big name. This guy equally as big. I think we grew up watching him playing goal. Jonathan Quick. He's getting traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets. This one's a little head scratching for me. LA Kings, Blue Jackets, they're both kind of middle pack, not having great seasons here. But Jonathan Quick has been a staple for the LA Kings. He's won two Stanley Cups with them. I mean, if you look at those stats right there, 57 shutouts, 18,000 saves, 370 wins. The dude he's been just since early 2010s, he's been the guy that you model your goalkeeper after. He's been electric. And if you have one Jonathan Quick, you can beat teams with 3 or 4 decent goalies just because Quick will outsave them every single night. But he moves to Columbus Blue Jackets. As I said, little head scratching for me. I wish Jonathan Quick all the best. Tim, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even get this on my radar. So, Jonathan Quick, like you said, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many more. I don't know the longevity, I guess, of his career. But like when he was, in the early 2010s, like you said, he was he was it. He was the model. He was the goalie you wanted. He was the prototype that you tried to get other goalies to be. So if he's still got it in the tank, that's great. But truthfully, he's been off my radar for a hot minute. So hopefully this kind of maybe reignites some, I don't know, some primitive desire to stonewall people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm for
Yeah,
it, though.
no. And I have to apologize. The Kings are actually second in the Pacific Division. I don't watch a lot of West Coast
Oh.
hockey, so I
Oh.
do apologize. But the Blue Jackets are dead last in the Metropolitan Division. So you wake up from being a contender to a non-contender.
Yeah, that is a little strange. I mean, I guess they're trying to. I don't know. I don't know enough of the details, but maybe they're just trying to get it while it's good. I guess I don't know.
Maybe he's a franchise icon. I think I
Yeah.
saw that, and I'm like, yeah, like when I think Kings, he's literally the only player I know of the Kings for 2010 to really current day. Like I don't know if I can name another big Kings player other than Jonathan Quick. So it's a little shocking. Fitz, have you heard of Jonathan Quick before?
I hadn't even heard of the Conn Smith Award, and I just looked it up. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just a few goalies have won that, the MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs. But yeah, pretty good company on that list. Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin, Vasilevsky, in the Conn Smith Winter Club. So that's about all I can give you.
No, I'm glad you threw it in there because I forgot to mention it. So I'm glad you did. Yeah, Conn Smith it's a very prestigious award, and like you said, I don't know.
It's a good name. Good name for an award.
It is.
It's unique,
Conn
but
Smith.
I like it. I like it. The Conn Smith.
Hockey
winner.
always has really good trophy names.
Yeah.
like-
I also I'm a fan of the Naismith winner for college basketball. The Naismith
yeah.
Award. Yeah,
I like
just
that one.
some names just have a ring to it that
Yeah.
just
And like Heisman's kind of overdone,
mm-hmm.
but I think you're right. There's like some prestige to these other ones, but like
Like when you're like, oh, he was Naismith Player of the Year. It's like, ooh. It's like, yeah, he was the 2012
Yeah.
Conn Smith winner. Oh, it's like
Yeah.
that guy.
that man drinks with his pinky up. Hold on, let me talk to this guy. I love it. All right. Before we move into football, we're going to stick with the other winter sport going on. College basketball conference tournaments are kicking off today, but there's still a few regular season games to wrap up this weekend. ACC tournament, Big Ten, all the major conferences will start their conference tournament next week. Final games of this season to watch. You get Saturday, number 2 Alabama taking on number 24 Texas A&M. Number 8 Arizona traveling to number 4 UCLA, a top 10 matchup late in the season. Conference on the line. Big things happening there. Same thing in the Big 12. Number 3 Kansas taking on number 9 Texas. Number 12 Tennessee taking on Auburn. Number 25 Pitt taking on number 16 Miami. And then Duke and UNC facing off to each other. Sure, they're having down years, but I think the whole nation kind of goes, oh, I'll tune in. I'll keep track of Duke versus UNC. Plus, John Shire just completed his sweep at home. He's the first coach to go undefeated at home in Duke, and that's a good thing to have in your resume. Sunday, you got number 1 Houston taking on Memphis. Memphis is always tough. Michigan traveling number 15 Indiana, and Illinois traveling number 5 Purdue. A lot of things up for the grabs here. A lot of things on the line. Any games you guys are really looking forward to? Anything you might keep tabs on? Anything and everything for these slate of games here?
I think Baylor's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of crawled back up to the top, and they've been good, but they've kind of had a history in the tournament of kind of blowing it. So be curious to watch them and see as they're kind of hot at the right time. Yeah, Houston at number 1 is pretty hard to beat. I think they've shown defensively they're one of the top teams in the country. Bama's been there all year. Don't sleep on Tennessee. Tennessee's looking solid. Marquette is one to keep an eye on, another defensively sound team. So as we'll get into March Madness kind of later on, but it's nice to see some of these defensively strong teams are kind of at the top of college basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was one game I was really curious about.
We had to bring on the boy Ashton Roth back on for some March Madness.
We might have
Bracketology with him. because that was a really dope episode last year.
Mhm. Oh, it was Gonzaga was one. Gonzaga's kind of dropped off. They were a preseason favorite, and they've looked pretty bad recently. I can't remember who they've lost to. They don't really play anybody in their conference anyway.
I'm telling you, like that we grew up watching, and the teams that like we grew up watching dominate, they're
Mhm.
slowly trickling out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's weird.
like Bama's number 2. We're not talking football. We're talking basketball.
Mhm,
And I remember
mhm.
Bama used to be just dog shit in basketball, and now they're the second best team in the nation. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is really weird. And Duke and UNC, neither of them ranked. That's weird.
It's super weird.
It's just
Super.
that's how it goes. When
Yeah.
you lose Hall of Fame coaches, that's what happens.
Tim, what's your thoughts here, man?
Kind of like how Evan is with hockey.
But you
I'm
get
out on this
hockey, I
one.
get basketball.
I like to go by the mascots. So I don't know. I think the only one that would interest me would be Duke versus UNC. And it's really just to see, Duke fans versus UNC fans, like just stabbing each other with pitchforks. So that's really it. That's all I got.
All right, Tim. Here's what I'm gonna do. I got $10 laid to the side here. I'm gonna have the Tim mascot parlay just for these games right here. So based off the mascot, you tell me who wins. I'm gonna put him in for a parlay. All right. Bama, Roll Tide, Crimson Tide versus the Aggies of Texas A&M. Who do you take?
Bama's an elephant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, give me the elephant.
Okay,
Yep.
Bama. Wildcats of Arizona taking on the Bruins of UCLA.
Bears. They're Bears.
Oh, they're Bears. Ooh.
A Bruin is a bear.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
like
is
just to clarify.
I always thought Bruin was a broom. When I was growing up and we were watching like the Boston Bruins, I just thought they were the Boston Brooms.
Yeah,
Anyone
it's
else?
very
Is that just
confusing.
me?
No, I just didn't know what it was until
Oh,
I
well,
saw USC. I was like, oh, it's a bear.
they're not brooms. If anyone's wondering. Give me the Wildcats. I like the speed of a Wildcat.
Mm.
Speed versus. I mean, Bears are fast, but you get a few Wildcats on them.
Tenacious.
Now-
It's GG.
Let me ask you this: Is when you think of Wildcat, what cat do you think of? Because technically, a Wildcat could be a feral cat.
Yeah, when I think of Wildcat, I think of like the mix of a Bobcat and almost like a Jaguar, like this weird like hybrid of this hairy, fast creature that is spotted, but it's got like this bright orange hair. It's not like it's I'm just thinking of like something I saw growing up as a kid. But that's how I see a Wildcat, something fierce, lean, starving. So they got that, I got you to eat mentality.
Yeah.
At first, I thought you were describing a Thundercat. At first,
Oh.
All right.
No, I like that.
Kansas Jayhawks taking on Texas Longhorns.
Hook them.
Yeah, we skewing some Jayhawks, I guess.
Getting up in the air.
Yeah.
I like it. Tennessee Volunteers taking on Auburn War Eagles.
Are they War Eagles or Tigers?
No, they're the Tigers. You are correct. They're the Tigers.
But their mascot's very confusing.
Ooh, I don't like
right, they're chant.
confusing mascots. Just
Although Tennessee, they're Volunteers, but their mascot's a dog,
oh
Smoky.
gosh,
little coon dog.
I don't like this.
Named
one.
after what mountain range, Tim, or what mountains?
Smoky Mountains.
Yeah,
Attaboy.
Smoky.
Attaboy.
Hey, we're going
Smoky the
Volunteers.
coon dog.
Let's go Vols, baby. Bruce Pearl coaching against his old team. A little fun fact. Pittsburgh Panthers taking on Miami Hurricanes.
Ooh.
I mean, has a panther survived a hurricane before?
Has a Panther met a hurricane before? I don't know.
Give me the natural disaster. I'm going hurricane.
Yeah.
Blue Devil versus Ram, Duke and UNC.
Ram.
I'm going Blue Devil here, just for the pointy goatee facial hair.
I like it. All right. Sunday's action: Houston Cougars taking on Memphis Tigers.
I guess both make that sound. Give me the Cougars.
Michigan Wolverines taking on the Hoosiers of Indiana. Don't ask me what a Hoosier is.
Is that another bear?
No,
Mm-mm.
I think a Hoosier is just. I don't actually.
Is
know
it like
what
a
Hoosier is.
cowboy? What is
That
it?
was just a
What is
term
a
you call
Hoosier?
people from
Give me-
Indiana.
From
Give me the
Indiana.
Wolverines. Give me the Wolverines. It's the state. It's the state animal for Michigan. Learned that in 4th grade. Have I ever seen a Wolverine? No, never. Why is it our state animal if we haven't seen it?
It's kind of sad.
Yeah,
Sorry, we're gonna go to Michigan. We're gonna hunt them, and we're taking
That
keep
is
him as a
illegal.
pet. No, we're gonna have it as a pet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Last one: Illinois Fighting Alum taking on the Purdue Boilermakers.
All right. Here's another one. What the hell is a Boilermaker? Isn't that like a machine?
It's like a train
Oh,
conductor.
I could dig a chain. I was thinking more like when you hear like a boiler room, like in a school or something. I
Like
was just
Freddy
thinking,
Krueger.
yeah, I was just thinking it was just this big like vat of steam. Like, oh, that's what the Boilermaker is. But
I love it.
I like a train. Give me the Boilermakers.
All right, I'm putting this in, and this is gonna hit. This is gonna be fucking
Dude, that's
wild.
nuts.
That's how we make money, boys.
Let's do it. Put Parlay's been hurting, so this is how we get it back.
Hmm.
All right, let's move to a little NFL talk. Let's talk about that boy, Geno Smith. Let's look at his stats real quick. Geno Smith, 70% completion rating, 4,282 yards in the air, 30 tutties, had 11 interceptions, 100.9 QBR. He was sacked 46 times. Maybe some of that's his fault. Maybe some of it's his O-line fault. But he broke the franchise record for season passing yards with that 4,282 yards. Hell of a year. There is talks that Seattle is going to write Geno Smith off and go chase somebody in this draft, which is just absolutely wild. That's the wrong graphic I pulled up. I mean, if you're the Seahawks, do you move away from Geno Smith, or do you entrust him to be like, hey, we can build for the next couple of years around Geno? Fitz, you're shaking your head.
Man, it's tough. And like, it's a great story for Geno. Gosh, he's so weird. He is such a weird quarterback, just that you feel like you've got to get someone young. Like, Geno will still be the starter, but you feel like you can't just bank on Geno at this point.
Yeah.
Like, that you need to take a young guy who can learn under Geno and then maybe take over. But you carry 2 quarterbacks. Like, you say, hey, Geno's our guy until he's not. And again, you pull for Geno that maybe this is for real. Maybe it's not a fluke. But I think we're all kind of just like, who feels good about it? Like, it just, like, we are all pulling for it. But does anyone feel really good about Geno?
Yeah.
I think he's got great weapons. I think that's something you have to acknowledge, is he's got great pieces around him, which is great, and that I think that leads to success. But they barely made the playoffs. Like, can he be the guy? And Seattle they got some weapons on offense. They need a quarterback who can really deliver, and I just don't know if Geno can be that guy.
Homie,
Yeah.
you just
I'm just being the
stat
critic.
line.
I know, but I think also the winning is also an important statistic, and I haven't seen Geno been carrying a whole lot.
Dog, they were in playoff contention.
Yeah, they were right there.
Yeah, thanks to my Packers, they got a spot.
I see through your Geno hate.
I'm not hating on him. I'm just trying to be realistic.
Hate. So I think, first, okay, let me preface. Ever since this whole Russell Wilson crap, I don't believe anything that comes out of Seattle. Oh, Russell Wilson is trying to get so-and-so fired, but they're trying to... No, done. I'm over this. This is like Aaron Rodgers talk. I'm over it. Like, I don't care. None of it matters. Anyway, I do like Geno. I think Geno's going to be the starter next year. Evan, I agree with you. I think if you tag Geno and you draft a young quarterback, you got the future in mind. You got him on a rookie contract. You're paying Geno what he's worth on average, and then
And
in a
Geno's a
couple of
starter.
years, in a couple of
Yeah,
years,
like
then
he
you
is
say,
he has earned
"Thanks,
his
Geno."
spot as a starter.
Yeah, thanks, Geno. Like, we'll send you off with whatever parade, or you can go to whatever team. But like,
He ain't
I
getting
think
the bag.
huh?
He ain't getting the bag. Not this
Homie,
year. He's not getting the money.
Dog, you franchise tag me for 2 years. I'm cool with it. Like, I'm still getting 34 million.
I'm getting
so,
the average. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
feeling
cool with
good.
that. Dang, I was making
Yeah,
10 million
fair.
last season.
Fair,
I'll
fair.
take 34 million. So
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just like Geno's story, but I think he definitely has solidified himself as a starter in Seattle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And they're drafting 5th overall thanks to that Denver trade that none of us saw coming. We thought that was a dumbass trade, and we thought Denver might, really that pick turns into the 23rd or 24th pick. Who knows? But I'm with you, Tim. I think if you're Geno Smith, you want to stay in Seattle because you're proven there. Life's good for you. Seattle Seahawks love you. Like, the fans love you. They adore you. You get franchise tagged. And for listeners who don't know, they average the top 7 players in that position, and that becomes your salary for that year. Like, that's awesome. 10 million turns into 34, 40 million real quick for you, thanks to Patty Mahomes and possibly Joe Burrow's contract and Lamar Jackson's contract. Like, he's going to get a pay raise anyway. They're drafting 5th. You might have a quarterback there. If it's not Stroud or Bryce Young, if I'm Seattle, I keep it moving. I don't worry about a quarterback. And we'll talk about the draft picks here in a second.
I think they gotta take a QB. That's me.
I don't know. We'll talk about him here in a minute.
Makes me want to watch Draft Day because the whole I can't remember who the washed up QB they have. They got Brian Drew.
Yeah.
Like, there's all these question marks.
That's good.
So maybe Seattle trade all their picks and they'll take the linebacker that they secretly wanted to take the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. I just watched that movie the first time like last month, and I was like, yeah, this is not bad. Not a bad
It's
movie.
a dumb movie, but it's very engaging.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Like, I don't think I'd watch it again for like another year or so, but like, if it's on, I might stop down and watch it.
And it keeps coming to life in Seattle. I don't know if y'all saw the article of Russell Wilson. Like, people didn't go to his birthday party or something.
Yeah.
Straight out of that movie. They're like, tell me who wasn't at his birthday. Any of his teammates. And it's so
That's
stupid.
true.
It's like, this would never happen. And I'm like, wait, no one went to Russell Wilson's birthday?
This actually happened. Yeah.
It's like, what is that? So maybe Seattle is just they're the new draft day. They're just it's just all coming to life.
They should have based in Seattle instead of Cleveland. Let's talk about a draft. We're going to talk to the NFL Combine here, and we got to start with some unfortunate news, or maybe the dumbass of the week, or in all honesty, I think it's just really sad. Jalen Carter, who's projected to be the top pick defensive lineman from Georgia, like just purebred athlete. I think any 32 team would be like, hell yeah, we'll take Jalen Carter, like without a doubt. Just freakish size, freakish speed. His film doesn't lie. Seems to be a good guy. Warrant's come out for his rest day. He's in Indianapolis getting ready for the Combine this weekend. This dates back to the crash after UJ wins the Natty. They lose the football recruiting staffer, Chandler LaCroix, and then also offensive lineman Devin Wilcock. The high-speed chase, or not high-speed chase, but high-speed was involved. Alcohol was involved. Chandler was driving the vehicle. She was double the legal limit in alcohol. They crashed. Unfortunately, they both die. Well, it comes out that Jalen Carter was possibly allegedly racing this other car, and that maybe that caused part of the issue, led to the speed. And so he's charged with reckless driving and racing, and that's been connected to the charge of killing those 2 football members of the Georgia family. my heart breaks for this kid, and if it's true, you've got to live and learn. Especially what we've seen in the NFL the past 2 seasons. I mean, hell, look at the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Just solely on them. You can't have this. You can't do this. And I think this is going to hurt Jalen Carter's draft stock a lot, just for the warrants being issued for his arrest. I hope everything gets situated, and no matter if this guy's charged or not, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily all his fault. Yeah, he maybe led to it, but my heart, prayers, and thoughts go out to both families affected here, the Wilcock family and Chandler family here. What's your all's take with this one? Or LaCroix family, not Chandler.
Yeah, just look at the article right now. Yeah, it's tough, but it may hurt his stock, but I think he'll get drafted. I don't think that's.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, that sucks, but that's not. That's not on like I don't know what that is. It's just it's a very weird situation, very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know all the details yet, but I wouldn't draft him if I was a GM. If he's driving, I would not. If he's driving, I think the brief article I read was like 104 miles an hour or something.
Yeah.
Now,
supposedly there was no indication of alcohol being involved with Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah, and that's we don't know all the details, but I wouldn't draft him. I don't know. I know I'm not a GM. I don't know. This kind of goes to the point we've talked about before on the podcast where like, okay, how much of a ruckus can you make and get away with because you're a good player?
Yeah.
Hey, he's a good player in college.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to take him in my locker room and I don't know, risk him? There's no telling what could happen. And yeah, it was a mistake, I'm sure. But like, he wouldn't even be on my radar. I wouldn't.
Yeah, but he'll be on your radar when it's the 3rd round and he's still sitting there.
Not me. He wouldn't be on my radar. Because if you're given this platform and this is what you allegedly do or have been involved in, I don't want you in my organization. Yep. And that's just me. I don't know. I'm sure money talks and plays talk and he'll go somewhere, but I'd say good luck, kid. Hope you're not arrested for whatever, but like you won't be wearing my uniform. That's just how I'd do it.
Yeah. And I think if we don't have the Henry Ruggs incident, this might be a completely different story where it's like, he'll beat the charge. Bears take him number 1 overall, but I really do think this is gonna make him fall out of the top 10 unless there's just a GM that's just like really brave and wants to make the stand. But Tim, I'm kind of with you. Like, unless he's falling into the 7th round, and I put a lot of implications on his contract and says, "Hey, you got this curfew, you got this. If you don't do this, you don't get your money." I don't know if I take a stab with it because it's just a really bad look. Like, we look at the Raiders, we make a lot of fun at the Raiders right now. It's like, move your team out of Vegas. Like, the Raiders are hell right now. It's a bad look, and it all stems really from the Henry Ruggs incident, and then everything else snowballed from it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's definitely not my place, but like, if I was in that situation and I go undrafted, I think that would make me work harder. Yeah. If no one picks him up, that's going to tell you, hey, you got to get your ish together.
Dude, like, have we ever seen something like that? Like a number 1 overall projected pick go undrafted?
I don't know. Like you guys said, there's going to be some the Cleveland Browns, they're just a dumpster. They take whatever fodder they can and they'll take it with a smile on their face. So they'll probably take him or somewhere. But
he'll get drafted. But he'll slide. He'll slide pretty steep. But also it depends on. They'll talk to him, and who knows what kind of remorse he feels for doing this. Is clearly like, even though he was driving recklessly, he didn't intend to, and again, it was he intoxicated at the time or was he not? I mean, I don't know. It's just, man, these kids, man,
Yeah.
they just need coaches like Coach Hackey under them, just making sure they're okay. I don't trust Kirby Smart. That's unfair shade at Kirby Smart, but I'm just saying, like, I just worry about these dang kids, man. It's just, we treat them like they're not kids, and then they do kid shit, and then we start saying, oh, they blew their whole career, and it's like, come on, they just need some guidance or something.
Yeah, but like,
so I'm just hoping he feels, does he feel remorse for what he did? And coaches and the scouts, they have a chance to talk to him and just see. And this is a tough conversation, the fact that he's even got to have this conversation now, extremely difficult. It's just a very weird situation. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I don't think it's necessarily like he's blackballed now or anything like that.
Yeah. Tim, and any other thoughts there? I know you were started talk there for a second.
Nah, it would just be a no thanks for me. So he'll go somewhere, but it better not be the Lions, or I'm going to be triggered.
Man.
Hey, you're gonna sound like me when I was like, "Fuck no, Jamar Chase or no Joe Mixon," because he had the whole domestic abuse, and then flash forward, I'm like, "Oh, this guy learned." All right, so here's my list of potential, some of the biggest talent you can't miss. I made this list before this morning, before this news broke, of Jalen Carter, but here's my list. Jalen Carter, freakish athlete, number one, right? That was my list, and now I'm like, "Fuck," right?
Jeez.
Out of the quarterbacks, I love CJ Stroud. I know Bryce Young seems to be the overall favorite, but what I saw in film, what I saw CJ Stroud do to that UGA defense, the number one ranked defense compared to what Bryce Young did, I'll take CJ Stroud over Bryce Young just off that game alone. We look at the whole glimpse of the season. I just like CJ Stroud, how he played. Then you got Will Anderson on the defensive side. I think he's a can't-miss linebacker for you. You could put him on the edge. You could send him in the middle, put him back in coverage. I think he can do it all for you. And then on the O-line, I'm going to mess up this guy's name so bad. I've been practicing all day, and I know I'm still going to mess with it. But from Northwestern, Peter Skoronsinski. I know I messed it up, and I'm sorry, Big Pete. To me, he's the most polished tackle in the draft. He can play left. He can play right. I think, especially being a Bengals fan, I would love to pick up Big Pete here. But those are my top four can't-miss players. Obviously, Jalen Carter might slide out of that list there. Any thoughts on my list or any thoughts of you guys that just can't miss talent from the draft?
I think the big question mark's the quarterback from Kentucky, that he's the one.
And we're going to talk about him. Yep.
Yeah, he's the one that just probably has the most question marks in terms of a very high upside, but also a risk.
Yep.
So I don't know. That one's worth mentioning. I think that was Mel Kiper's number one, that's always head scratching too. When Mel's, I think he was the one that told us, who's our guy?
Watch out for Will Levis.
Who's our MILF Hunter guy? Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson,
he was the one that was drinking the Zach Wilson Kool-Aid.
Mel Kiper was the one that's like, "Hey, Brady Quinn's a bust. I'll retire."
Yeah. I do not trust Mel Kiper with any quarterback evaluation. So the fact that he likes Kentucky guy,
in his mock draft, he's got Bryce Young going number one, and that's when I was like, "Oh shit, I definitely like CJ Stroud more than Bryce Young right now."
Okay, well, he may predict that, but I know as far as talent wise,
his board,
he thinks Kentucky's the guy. Yeah,
which we'll talk about that here in a second. Tim, any thoughts on guys that just can't miss? You would love to see the Lions take.
Oh man, I don't know. I hadn't done enough sleuthing quite yet for the top guys. I mean, I have a sleeper or two, but I just I hope we don't take a quarterback just because. Who was I listening to? I was listening to someone the other day, and they just talked about how there's this strange people are overpaying for these quarterbacks in the draft because you have to, right? You gotta get the Patty Mahomes, you gotta get the Joey B, you don't really think about the Zach Wilson or the Sam Darnolds or like the people that they've overpaid for, Mitch Trubisky, that just haven't panned out. And so CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, like these are all the top guys, I think, right now, but I don't know. I feel like in a year I'm be saying a fool if I say, "Oh, Bryce Young's the man,"
Can't miss. Yeah.
and then he's
yeah.
he's the next Sam Darnold, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like an idiot."
Right. I don't blame you. Well, I'm going to give you my list of sleepers now, and feel free to chime in with your own sleepers here. Jacob Copeland, this guy from Maryland has blazing speed. There's talks that he can run under a 4.3 this weekend at the combine. Kid could just be lights out. Kind of reminds me of John Ross, but he's got better body size than John Ross. That was always John Ross's big thing. He just kept getting injured because he just wasn't big enough. Copeland's got a lot more muscle on him. Zay Flowers, another wide receiver from Boston College. He had over 1,000 yards, 78 catches, 13 tutties. Yes, he's playing in the ACC, but he still had to go against Clemson. Still had to go against some decent defenses. And he's just a guy, his athleticism jumps out for me. Maybe not his speed, maybe not his route running, but overall, he just seems to be like the top wide receiver in this draft, I think. And he's going to turn some heads. From Minnesota, Terrell Smith. Terrell Smith is a guy that has blazing speed. He can pick defenders off left or right. He loves to come down and hit. He loves it. And sometimes that gets him in trouble. But I think Terrell Smith, with the right DB coach, with the right defense around him, I think he could be a star out there in the secondary for anybody. And then from USC, it's another name. I always leave it to the fourth names that I'm always going to mess up. Tule Tupolito. I know I fucked that up. But he's 6'4", 290 pounds. He can play linebacker. He can play interior defensive line, and he can play the edge like he played this past season. The dude is a freak athlete. Samoan ancestry there. Like his athleticism is crazy. His strength's crazy. I think with him being 6'4", 290, he puts on probably 10, 15 more pounds in the league. You're going to see just a defensive force, especially at D-line with this guy. Any thoughts for you all sleepers or my sleepers here?
Man,
Just shaking his head no.
I got nothing, man. I haven't even begun my research.
Listeners, I told these guys, I texted them. I said, do some homework, research, because I'm coming in hot with some of these picks.
Yeah, I like it. It's just, I don't know. It's just early for me.
It's early, but the combine's Thursday. Starts tomorrow. Goes through the whole weekend. Tim, any thoughts for you, man?
Oh, I got one thought. All right. This is my sleeper coming in hot off the press.
He's just looking to something else.
No. I found this, and of course I'm biased. I'm thinking of Detroit. Nick Hampton, edge, ASU.
Ooh.
I think
yes,
he would be a perfect fit for the Lions defense. We have this fast pack, usually third or fourth down. We're getting James Houston off the edge. We're getting Hutchinson off the edge. I think he would complement James Houston so well on second and third downs. He's tough. He doesn't have quite, well, I guess that's the concern, is people are saying he doesn't have quite the build, that NFL build, the length. Pooey. I don't care about that. The Lions have familiarity with the Appalachian State Mountaineers, with Meach. So, I mean, they know what they're getting when they get a football player from App. So, I think he's going to go late, but he's going to be a sleeper. And next year, when he's making noise, just like James Houston did for us this year, everyone's going to be like, dang, where'd he come from?
Mm-hmm.
ASU. So
I love that.
Let's do it.
I didn't want to put Nick Hampton, Chase Bryce, or Cam Peoples on there. Hampton and Peoples being the only two Mountaineers invited to the combine this year. But I think whoever gets those three guys are going to get us some steals. And I'm excited. And I'm glad you said Nick Hampton. Besides the Lions, I hope he also goes to the Bengals. Akeem Davis, like we know how Mountaineers roll too in the orange and black. So yeah, I think whoever gets into Hampton is going to steal. Him and Meach reunited. We get them both on the pod after they're drafted.
Oh,
after
that would be
Hampton's
so dope.
That would be chef's kiss. That'd be electric.
I got 2 sleepers for you. I
Yeah,
dug
what
up
you got?
from my notes. This was from January 21st. So this is when I think I was updating as I was watching NFL playoffs, but this is also with college bowl games. Running back from Kentucky, Chris Rodriguez Jr. He's not a broken speed guy. They are projecting him to go 6th round, but I was very impressed by his vision. He fights for like every yard. He's just great in between the tackles. And I was just like, this guy looks like an NFL back. Like he will be like, 2nd or 3rd on the depth chart. So, depending where he ends up, he'll have to kind of work his way. But he's a guy that I was like, for fantasy football, I'm like, this guy could be something. This guy
You could steal him.
So I like Chris Rodriguez. And again, his 40 times not going to blow you away or anything, but he's powerful and he's got great vision and good feet. I mean, like, what more do you want? You just need to be an elusive back when it comes to NFL. The other one would be Stetson Bennett. And I know that he's kind of
mailman.
And his age is kind of interesting. He's probably already peaked. But as far as just how fast he is and the style of quarterbacks that are coming in the league, he could be a fit for just this Jalen Hurts type football. So he's one that I would take a chance on. Like if I was a team, like if I was Seattle, even, hey, if I've got Geno and I don't want to take one of my early picks, maybe I trade down, but I take Stetson Bennett because I'm just like, hey, let's give this guy a shot.
Maybe Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Maybe he falls in that situation. Yeah, I like those picks a lot, especially Rodriguez from UK. That's a good one. That's a deep, deep sleeper, but I'm here for it, Fitz.
He's an NFL back. I mean, I'm making my call. I'm making my claim right now. Like watching him, like watching college football players, I was just like, he is an NFL back. And he's probably going to be like 5th or 6th round. It'll be like a James Conner situation. Just a guy who's not a flash in the pan, but once he's on the field, yeah, he's a gamer and he's hard to tackle, so keep feeding him. So, yeah.
Chris Rod, come on the pod, baby. Let's get you ready for this NFL interview is coming your way, man. All right, last section here. Top playmaker or bust potential. Fitz, you queued me up earlier. Will Levis from UK. I don't understand how he's so high on Mel's big board. I don't understand how this guy – there's flashes of greatness, but there was a lot of bad plays on film. Just a lot of like Trent Dilfer-esque plays. Like it just –
Is that his comparison?
For me, it is. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not sold on him. Bryce Young obviously has amazing talent, maybe the most talent pool out of the quarterbacks. I haven't seen a Bama quarterback work out truly. And I'm worried. I don't know if he's got enough muscle on him. I don't know if he's got enough flair. Like he's obviously got some leg speed. His arm strength lacks a little bit. His accuracy is 100%. It's amazing. His reading of defense is great. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for bust, but I also think there's potential for maybe he becomes even a better tool with a better brain, right? The other quarterback on this is Anthony Richardson, which in my eyes, I think if I look at all the quarterbacks in a room, I'm saying I want that guy just based off looks alone, based off game film. Like if you show me highlights of all these guys, Richardson has some of the best highlights I've ever seen of Cats, but so did Jamarcus Russell from LSU. And then we know how that turned out, right? It didn't work out. So I don't want to compare Richardson to Russell there, but I think that guy could be one hell of a playmaker, or I think it could be like, damn, we wasted a pick on him. The other one is Christian Garcia. This is a defensive back from Oregon. He had 4 interceptions this year, which is a great amount, phenomenal amount for him. But where was these stats his sophomore year, freshman year? they weren't there. Christian Garcia kind of worries me a little bit. I know he's projected maybe to go to the Lions early on. Tim, I don't mean to scare you away from him. I don't want to scare you away from him. I think he could be a baller. His athleticism is off the chart. But his consistency is not. One great year doesn't prove enough for me, unfortunately, because I've seen enough bust coming. Any potential playmaker to bust guys that you have?
I think you hit the nail on the head with Bryce Young. Like, he's getting so much drummed up hype, and okay. I hate to say it. I'm going to say it. I see Kyler Murray 2.0.
Ooh, I like it.
He's going to be a bust.
I like it. I like it.
I don't know. I think, but I think it's the same thing. You know, when Kyler first got in, he was making these Hail Murrays. He was doing all these flashy plays, and then he kind of fizzled out. I think that's kind of how Bryce is looking like to me, where people are hyping him up so much that he's going to have some really good plays, but I guess, is it sustainable? So I just see Kyler Murray there. So that's a big, you guys know me on Kyler. That's a big, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my receiver from Old Dominion.
YOLO Swagtron?
Who was my guy? Yeah, who was my guy this year?
Yeah, you did mention one early on. I do remember that.
Because he outperformed the guy from Virginia who's Wicks. He outperformed Wicks. I can't remember his name, but I can't find it. I mean, receivers are just interesting. Just trying to figure out like who are the Justin Jeffersons or the Stephon Diggs, who are going to be the guys that can just get open. And sometimes with the receiver rankings, just because they were the best college receiver doesn't always translate. So it's trying to find those guys. I do think the guy from TCU, I think he's kind of in front of everyone else just in terms of like, he looks like he could be Larry Fitzgerald. Like he's just a great route runner. He's very poised. He has great hands. He like just does everything. But then outside of that, it's just hard to tell. It's just it's like a lot of speedsters.
Quentin Johnson.
Just trying to figure out Quentin Johnson. Yeah. But then like the other guys, it's just like they're quick. I kind of like the USC guy, but it's kind of hard to tell. I would think like in terms of like who's just kind of who gets open in the slot. I think he might be one, but I'm just not sure. I'm never sure with the receivers. But I'm trying to find YOLO Swagtron come to life. I can't find him.
Never. There's going to be no one like YOLO.
It's not Allie Jennings, is it?
Is it the third? Oh, Jennings the third? I think there was a third in his name.
Okay. I'll let you find it. Well, before we go to the pub parlay and random question, I've got one thing I got to share. It's from the XFL. Tim, you'll love this. The Battle Hawks. We talked about Bama quarterbacks. AJ McCarron, former Nick Saban quarterback there. I thought this was awesome. Comes out that basically he chose to start in the XFL for less money than being a backup in the NFL for his kids to be able to watch him and to create memories for his boys. Like, to me, I thought that was really awesome. And you know, The Rock retweets it and like says like, hey, this means a hell of a lot to me. I shout out to you for leading your team 2-0. But I think that's pretty dope that a pro athlete say, hey, I'm going to take less money, go to this XFL, this kind of newer league, just so my kids can watch me and have some memories of watching dad throw this whole thing. To me, that's kind of special. That's like really dope and cool. Any thoughts for you guys about this?
I do like that. I think, you know, I'm interested to see how many more players do that, where let's say they can make the 53-man roster, just like basically riding the bench or on special teams. But in the XFL, they're starting linebacker or, you know, they're starting tight end, maybe for a little less dough. I think the people who really love the game are going to go. So that was interesting. I hadn't heard that. I didn't think that would be an avenue for the XFL, but I guess it's pretty cool. I'm for it.
Yeah. I am too, and I think it's going to give the XFL some more talent, and I think some more legitimacy moving forward. Like teams wanted this guy, well, we're taking them now as a signing, and maybe we're going to see some more backup quarterbacks kind of trickle down there, or maybe guys like Geno Smith, instead of bouncing around the league, maybe they take a stop in the XFL to come back to the league or something. Like, to me, that's dope. That's cool. Yeah, I agree with you, Tim. Fitz, any thoughts here?
No thoughts, but it is Allie Jennings.
Ali Jennings. Okay.
That was our guy. Transferred from West Virginia. So
Yeah.
he's a junior. So I think if he wants to go, I don't know if I was trying to figure out if he's even in the draft.
I don't think
I
so.
think-
I don't think he
I
is.
think if someone took him, I mean, he'd be like a 7th rounder, a practice squad guy. So he'll probably stick around for his senior year.
Yeah.
But that's
keep
my
an
guy.
eye out.
That's my guy.
You know
Keeping a
who would
tab
be-
on him.
You know who'd be perfect for the XFL? Jameis Winston. Just think about it.
So you're off the Saints train. You're saying, all right, this ship's done. He's wrecked it. He's dead. We're moving to the XFL now, so he can kill the XFL. Is that what you're saying?
They benched him for some reason. So I could see him saying, I'll take less money to play. And so I can see him doing what McCarron's doing.
Yeah.
Go
All right.
play. Go play, stud.
That'd be major if he goes to the XFL. That'd be
I'm
major.
for it.
All right, Pub Parlay. Let's talk about some money. Let's make some money here. We almost hit last week. I fumbled the bag. That's on me, guys.
Dadgummit, Parker.
Did I get my basketball pick right?
You did. You and Tim got it right. Me and Devin got it wrong. We
I don't even remember who I picked.
Redheads fumbled the bag. We bounced back this week, though.
Who the heck did I pick last week?
So I'll tell you here in a second. But who wants to start us off here?
Do we have a particular day?
I don't care unless Fitz does. You picked Oklahoma, Fitz.
Oklahoma.
Boomer Sooner.
I'm trying to find who the heck did they beat?
Yeah, Tim, you picked the day, man, and we'll make it work.
Oh yeah, over Iowa State.
Yeah.
They won by 11, baby.
Yeah, they blew them out, and I was feeling good. And then I had the later game, and I was like, "Don't mess this up! Don't mess this up!" And it fumbled the bag. That's all right.
I think I'm like 5 for 6 on college basketball picks.
Yeah, they've been pretty money. They've been pretty good.
All right. I'm doing Saturday.
Okay, Saturday, we like it.
I'm taking. We're going XFL, by the way. I'm taking the Seattle Sea Dragons over the Vegas Vipers. Okay, so both of the Seattle Sea Dragons losses, very close. I mean, last second field goals. They got robbed. DiNucci playing well. Also, Josh Gordon, leading receiver for the Sea Dragons. So I think Seattle's going to get their first dub on Saturday. Count it.
And Vegas is 0-2 as well. So
Yeah.
both these teams fighting for their first win.
But see, the difference is Seattle has played much closer games.
Okay. I'm here for it. Sea Dragons.
Let's go.
I don't know what a sea dragon does, but that's the sound it makes in my mind. All right, we're dealing with Saturday here, Fitz, but we could bounce around. XFL is typically uploaded by Friday night, so we could do a Sunday match if you needed to.
There's some
Or a
spicy
Friday match.
ones, man. Oh gosh. There's two that I like. That would be, they're great games because it's number 3 Kansas versus number 9 Texas.
I had a feeling you were eyeing that
And
one.
it's number 8 Arizona versus number 4 UCLA. And I like the underdogs in both of those. I will say I think UCLA beats Arizona, so I'm going to stay away from that one. I'll call Texas over Kansas. I just kind of speaking. I don't know if I gave Texas their due, but they've been a team that's kind of getting hot at the right time as well.
Yeah, they're hot, and that's a good pick. I will tell you though, Arizona beat the doors off UCLA earlier when they played.
Yeah, but I always think UCLA they'll get them back. Those are great games. Both of those are great basketball games. But I like Texas of all the games I was looking at. I think you should have good odds there, and Texas is pretty good.
You got a Texas vibe. I like it. A team we talked about very recently, earlier on this podcast, Rangers. Saturday night, traveling on down to Boston, taking on the Brooms of Bruins. Give me the Rangers, who just required Kane. Vibes are high in the locker room. Give me the Rangers to upset the Bruins in Boston. So, Sea Dragons, Texas men's basketball, Rangers, all Saturday action, all money line action, plus Tim's mascot picks. Boys, I might just retire from everything when this hits. But I get paid. All right, random question. Anybody got one for us? This is the tough part. I know. It's tough.
I'm never good with these.
Okay, I got one. You like it? Throw it right back. If you could pick one mascot to win in a brawl, what mascot are you picking? Inspired by Tim's mascot parlay picks.
I kind of like Sparty for Michigan State.
Sparty from Michigan State. Big head, looks like a bobblehead already.
He's got
Has
the
a sword.
Yeah.
Where's the
He's
skirt?
very, very
More
strong.
aerodynamic.
He's ripped.
He was ripped.
I don't know. Does he strike you as a guy who skips leg day though? Or is he pretty?
Good.
No, I'll take Sparty. I think that's a good one to start with. I like him. I don't know that he can take every mascot, but I think he gives every mascot a fight.
Okay. I like it. Tim?
I'm going Uga. Is that how you say it?
What?
The
hell's
bulldog
Oh,
from Georgia.
Uga.
you're taking a
Uga.
dog.
I said Uga.
Uga.
Oh, man.
Yeah, isn't that? I mean, the mascot's pretty big.
Yeah.
Who wants to fight a bulldog? Not me.
That's true.
No way. I'm not getting mauled.
Mm.
Sparty's like what? The gun show? Yeah, his arms are getting torn up. Easy.
I'm gonna go the Philly Fanatic. I think it's a crackhead on Sesame Street that just can't be taken down.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
God.
you punch him, he's getting right back up, and he's liking it. You
Got
know.
that crack strength. Just
Yeah. Woo! Let's go, baby. Him and Grimace tag team. Oh man, it's over. It's over. All right, hey, that's gonna do it for the show. We hope you guys had a wonderful time, and we'll catch you guys next Wednesday. Pod drops on Friday, so if you don't watch us on YouTube Live, we'll catch you guys Friday. Have a beautiful time.
bye.
Dang it! I was trying to think of a draft day quote. God, slipped from me. You
Boo!
Evan,
pancake
you know this
eating
happens. Oh
motherfucker.
my
Fundamental.
gosh.
We would
You know this happens.
we would
every
be the
time.
bad boys of
Anyway,
Little
I've
League.
never
I'm
read-
telling you now. We would beat
Last
the
week he got
tar
off
out of the other
easy.
team.
I'm just gonna go out Yeah. and say it. Joey
I was
Chestnut
trying to
has
think of the
be in
draft day
club.
quotes, and I couldn't.
Has
think
to
of
be.
it.
One more.
Has
I mean,
to be.
Has to
Too
be.
late.
That was a journey.
Man, I'm gonna get real theological on y'all. I think we're all a little soft and misunderstood. I'll just be real honest.
Get Luke Combs. I was begging for Luke Combs not too long ago. We'll get Luke Combs on here. I challenge Luke. I think I can actually beat him in shotgunning a beer. So if he thinks he's got the cojones to come on and try, then by all means, Luke, bring it on.
That's the intro. You just hit my promo for me, James. I love it. Luke Combs will come on one week. We'll make it
My
happen.
problem is I get enthralled by the discussion and I forget I got to do a quote at the end.